Everybody knows the Elgato Stream Deck is the gold standard when it comes to streaming controllers. But what if I told you that there is a budget-friendly alternative that's worth considering? Today we are taking a closer look at the Fifine D6 Streaming Controller. It's quite a mouthful. We're going to refer to it as the D6. This does come at a lower price than the Stream Deck, but is it actually a real competitor or is it just a cheap knockoff? What's in the box? You're going to obviously get the controller. You're also going to get a USB-A to USB-C cable, which honestly, all of the Fifine cables are extremely quality and I really appreciate that. And you're also going to get the user manual, which goes over how to use it, how to download the software, and how to use the plugins. All right, let me give you my first impressions. Now, this thing just feels quality, and honestly, it feels quite similar to the quality of the Stream Deck. Same plastic, almost the same buttons, but as you could see, if I put these next to each other, I mean, there's a clear size difference between the entirety of the modules and the buttons. It is kind of cool that the buttons are bigger and they kind of click better more than the Stream Deck. I can't believe I'm saying that, but the buttons do feel a little bit more fun to click. I don't know. And it's also got this nice little button on the back. I don't know if you could see this. Let's see if I can get that in the camera. It's got like this button right here, which I think either changes the LEDs or just turns them off completely. This white bar is actually the LED RGBs, which is kind of cool and nice, and everyone loves a little RGB on their peripherals. There's nothing like that on the Stream Deck, which is probably a plus. I don't know why you wouldn't like it, and if you didn't like it, now you have the option to turn it off. Now, it does feel weighty. Like, I don't know how to explain it though, because this does too, and they're both like completely different sizes. I mean, the Stream Deck is much smaller than the D6, but they have a very similar weight. Unless you have a Stream Deck, you would instantly notice this. The Stream Deck comes with an actual stand module that I have mine in all the time. I've never even really considered having it flat on the desk, where this only has that option. Yeah, it's got a little bit more lift, definitely, than what the Stream Deck has, but I kind of like that the Stream Deck is a little bit more upright, but we'll see how that works as far as functionality. All right, now that we've got a good look at this thing, let's turn it on. Ooh, wow. Well, straight off rip, I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean, obviously, I haven't really done anything with it, but yeah, like those screens are beautifully lit, and I'm not really seeing any like pixelation or quality loss where I'd just be like, oh yeah, I need the Stream Deck over this. Like, this looks fantastic, and honestly, I love the RGBs around it. Let's see what the button, let's see if we can do anything with this button here. Hold on. Okay, we can switch it up to blue or purple. It's probably hard to see in the light. Oh, we got like this moving one. And I think that just turns it. Oh, nope, there's another one. That slows it down. That's another profile. And then we have solid colors, which is kind of cool. I mean, I love using the purple, so let's see what the purple looks like. I usually do purple on my RGBs. Yeah, that's nice. That's really nice. And then pink. And then we're back to the multicolor. And I'm almost positive that if I hold this, yep, and it turns it off. Amazing. I do want to give you a comparison of what this looks like to its friend over here. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell in the camera, but they're comparable, honestly. Like, the only thing I would say is that the screens on this, it's so hard to tell, but it's almost cropped. It doesn't completely fill the button, where this feels like you can definitely see it on the screen that each button is like completely filled by the backlit screen, whatever you have there. I know I'm kind of nitpicking, but that is a difference to me. All right, now let's get into the software and setup of the D6. But before we get into that, I do have a quick note. Yesterday, I already tried to do this. I tried to go to the website right here, the URL. Let's see if I can get that in there for Windows and download the software. But when I put that in there, there was like flashing lights and my antivirus was like, whoa, don't do that. And then I was like, holy crap, what is this website? And then I even went in and turned off my antivirus to see if anything would happen and still wouldn't let me download it. And then I even went to their website and went to their download section, which they only have one software, and tried to download it from there, and it still wouldn't let me. So I reached out to my contact at Amplagame and I let them know what I was dealing with, sent screenshots, and they reassured me that they know that this happens and that it's quite all right and that I can move forward with the download by taking a few easy steps that I'm going to show you right now. But I will say, I think you guys got to figure that out. I love you guys at Fifine, but I know that as somebody who wouldn't have a contact directly to you guys, that this would be extremely discouraging. I'd want to get to use my device, download stuff, get everything plugged in, and then getting hit with like a do not enter sign when I go to download your software is really unsettling. But let's move forward. Let's go Google search. We'll go to their website. We'll go to their software. See, they only have one. Click that. We're going to click Windows. Okay, that worked. I don't know. Honestly, I didn't do anything different from yesterday. They told me to do a couple steps that if it doesn't go through, but it's working now, so that's good. Okay, so I guess we're gonna open up the application. Let's take a look. Next, let's go to this. Next, install. Now, before I even start, let me just tell you, this UI is a direct copy of the Elgato Stream Deck's UI. Let me just pull that up for you so you guys can get a look at a direct comparison. It's not as, I don't know, nice looking, but they're more or less exactly the same. I mean, we have all of your, you know, plugins that you can throw onto the buttons. It's the same color scheme. It's the same fonts, like legit, and a lot of the same assets are used. But that's probably not a bad thing, especially for someone like me that's used the Stream Deck a bunch of times. Now I can just, you know, kind of pretend like this is the Stream Deck software. So if you're not familiar with the Stream Deck UI or you've never seen anything like this, I'm just going to go through this very like granularly and show you exactly what each thing does. So this side is where your plugins will be. These are kind of the native ones that they have that come right with the kit. This is like a little fake UI. It matches the screens here. And then you have the App Store, which you can click and it shows you all these plugins, which is awesome. These are usually made by third parties and they're licensed, and sometimes even some of your favorite applications like Premiere or Photoshop or something, they have their own licensed application for this. And let's see, let's take a look. Oh, there you go. There's Photoshop. Oh, there's Premiere, Adobe. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff here now. Oh, okay, right here. If you are a Stream Deck guy, you know how awesome Bar Raider is. Shout out Bar Raider. Who, if you know who that person is, this person is basically somebody who has developed applications for the Stream Deck or streaming controllers that aren't exactly licensed yet. This guy's done some amazing work. Like, you know, Spotify doesn't have a directly licensed application that you can use to integrate with your Stream Deck or your D6 or what have you, but he's created something that does. And the fact that it's on this emporium, whatever you want to call it, for Fifine, that's a big deal. I mean, I use mostly Bar Raider applications, so that's a huge win. We love that. Let's take a look at what else. Oh, so yeah, then they have icons, you know, a little like, you know, cool different looks you want for your stuff, some tutorials, and then I guess this is just kind of like their shop. Then they have like a forum button. This is where you can discuss and ask questions with other people who have this. And then there's a tutorial button. And this is your settings. This kind of just shows you your device and what scenes that you've created. Scenes are, I'm guessing, are profiles. That's what they're called on the Stream Deck. And then this is like all of the information that you would need for maybe troubleshooting. Oh, and you can control the brightness from here. Okay. Yeah, so then we have device. I guess you could have, you know, multiple devices in profiles, or you could change your devices, or maybe you have like two and like one does one thing and one's for another thing. I'm not sure why you would have to. And then these are your pages. You can just add pages, which is great. I wonder if they have infinite pages like Elgato does. And then, like I said, this is like your profiles. All right, now let's go in and let's grab a plugin, see how it looks visually on the actual D6, and also how it communicates with the program that it's supposed to be using. And we'll use OBS, so let's do a scene change. All right, now that we've got this on there, I'm gonna give you a little heads up. When you are trying to connect an OBS plugin with this, or really any controller, you're gonna need a few things to get that to work. It's going to ask you for like some server information. It's going to be really scary. I promise you it's not scary. It's totally normal. You go to your OBS, you go to the top, you click tools, and then you look for, what is it called? WebSocket server settings. What you're going to do in there is that you're going to click enable WebSocket server, and then you're going to go to the section that says show connect info, and then copy and paste the password and connect it into your D6 software, and then everything should work. Now, I kind of already set this up really quick. Here is the scene change. You can see it here. I don't know. I want to show you guys this here. Let me make this full screen for y'all. All right. This is kind of what I was talking about in the beginning. Although the buttons are much bigger than the Stream Deck, they're not like taking up the full screen. And I don't know if it's just this OBS application that is like a small little icon, but yeah, it just kind of floats in there. Now, is that a bad thing? Is it a good thing? I'm not really sure. I guess for me, I would like it if it like completely took up the full button. I think that's like a little bit more immersive and like luxury feeling, but I don't know. Am I nitpicking? Probably. But let's give a look. Let's see if this works. So I set this up to go to my face cam, and let's press the button, and boom, it works. Nice. That's all we really wanted it to do. Coming from somebody who's used both softwares and have seen both online plugin emporiums, can I really say that there's much of a difference here? No, not really. Now, I'm not going to tell you that D6 has everything that Elgato has, or I mean, I'm sorry, Fifine has everything that Elgato has, or that Elgato has everything that Fifine has, but right off of rip, I haven't been able to see anything that would hold me back. I mean, I use mostly bar rater things. Maybe it doesn't allow you to connect to like the Elgato ecosystem because of some sort of licensing thing, but I mean, it works great. It looks great. It's super easy. It went right onto this super fine. Like right now, I would say that they're about even. All right, now let's get to the important part. What do I think? Now, I know I just talked a little bit about the UI and the plugins and that they're both completely the same, but after a little bit more looking, Elgato definitely has a larger variety of plugins and way more licensed things. There actually isn't any smart home connectivity for anything for Ampligame, which is kind of a big downer. Now, is that a complete definitely don't buy this? No, but when considering the price of both these, which this one is around 80 bucks and the Stream Deck is anywhere between like 100 to 150 to upwards, even to their max model of like $250, it's something to consider. What you're getting, what you want to use it for. For me, I like to use it for everything, not just for streaming or creating. I use it for you know, my desk lamp and turning things on and opening applications. And you could probably get away with a lot of that stuff without turning lights on this, but you still don't have that like production wow factor that the Elgato ecosystem comes with. Now, talking about this solely, I really like this thing. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed by this thing. I thought that for 80 bucks, we were going to be missing out on a ton of stuff. If it's just the fact that it won't turn my light on for my Elgato setup, that's completely fine. It looks really great. It's honestly like quality. I love the big buttons. Like, come on. Bigger buttons? Who doesn't love bigger buttons? I got shitty eyes, you know? It's really nice and they feel good and it feels quality. I also love RGBs. I know people are over it, but I love it. And I love the fact that you can cycle through different profiles on it and even turn them off if you don't like it. Some suggestions, maybe a housing to have it sit more vertically. I think that a lot of people enjoy that. It kind of feels like you're doing like a little pin pad on like a spaceship. I don't know what I'm saying, but I think that that would be a really good idea. I would also look into smart home connectivity, whether if it's Philips or maybe even Elgato or Elgato knockoff stuff. I think that that's really important because it really does bring your production to the next level. You're able to find two things on the fly without having to open up a program. That's really it. For the price of what this is and for what you get, it is absolutely worth it. I think this is an amazing product, and honestly, Amplagame has really just like surprised me over and over and over. You feel like you always have to buy like the top of the line name brand things like an Elgato. Not to say that I don't own any of that stuff, I totally do, but if you're starting off and you don't want to spend, maybe 20 bucks is a lot between 80 and 100 and you'd rather just get this, you are not missing out at all. I highly recommend this, and honestly, thank Amplagame for sending this to me. By the way, there is no partnership here. They're not paying me. They're not telling me to tell you it's great. It just is great. So that's really it, guys. If there's any questions or if this helped you out at all, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Buckworm, and I will catch you on the next one.